Welcome back to On the Roll with Matt. Today I want to talk about something that sits in a strange tension for me: disability. And I want to approach it honestly because there is a difference between finding meaning in something and glorifying it. I do not glorify my disability. I do not wake up every day pretending it is easy. I do not look at the pain, the frustration, the fatigue, the dependence, or the things I have lost and say, I wanted this. I didn't. I would never want someone to hear me talk about my life and think I am trying to make disability sound romantic, heroic, or beautiful all the time. That would not be truth. There are parts of disability that are bitter. There are parts that break your heart quietly. There are moments when you grieve versions of yourself you never got to fully meet. There are days when you watch the world move at a speed your body cannot match, and you realize how many things other people do without having to calculate every step, every doorway, every risk, every amount of energy it will cost. And I would be lying if I said that never affects me. It does. But the human experience is rarely one dimensional. Pain and purpose can exist in the same life. Grief and gratitude can sit at the same table. Loss and growth can be woven into the same story. The very thing that wounds you may also become part of what forms you. That does not mean the wound was good. It means growth can still happen there. And that is where I find myself. I am not thankful for every hard part of disability, but I cannot deny that disability has shaped me into someone I may not have become otherwise. It has refined my perspective. It has forced me to examine what strength actually is. Because strength is not always loud, it is not always physical, it is not always visible. Strength can look like continuing with grace when your body is resisting you. Strength can look like asking for help when pride tells you not to. Strength can look like choosing not to become bitter when life gives you plenty of reasons to be. Disability has changed the way I see people. It has made me more aware of suffering that does not announce itself. It has taught me that everyone is carrying something, even if their struggle is not obvious. It has made me slower to judge and quicker to recognize courage in places most people overlook. And honestly, I do not know who I would be if I had lived an able bodied life. My perspective would be different. My priorities would be different. The way I love would be different. The way I understand pain, patience, humility, dependence, faith, and resilience would be different. And one of the greatest gifts God has ever given me is my wife. I truly believe God knew who I needed, not just someone to stand beside me when life is easy, but someone whose love reminds me that I am not defined by what my body can or cannot do. And I also believe the man I became through disability has shaped the way I love her back. I do not take presents for granted. I do not take kindness lightly. I do not see loyalty as something small. When certain parts of life are harder, you begin to recognize the sacredness of people who stay, people who see you, people who choose love without making you feel like a burden. That kind of love changes you. So, disability for me is bittersweet. Not sweet because the pain is enjoyable, not sweet because the limitations are easy. Sweet because even in a life I did not choose, God has still brought beauty. Sweet because my story has not only been marked by loss, it has also been marked by depth, perspective, growth, love, and a kind of resilience that cannot be manufactured in comfort. And your life may carry that same tension. Maybe it is not disability for you. Maybe it is grief, trauma, recovery, anxiety, depression, family pain, financial stress, loneliness, betrayal, or a season that forced you to become stronger than you ever planned to be. Whatever it is, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to grieve what it cost you. You do not have to pretend it did not hurt. You do not have to dress pain up in positivity just to make other people comfortable. But do not let the painful parts convince you that nothing meaningful can grow from your life. Because when we spend all our energy staring at what we lost, we can forget to notice what has been built. We dwell on what we cannot do. We replay what changed. We compare our life to someone else's and start measuring our worth against a reality we were never given. And comparison can become a thief of identity. It can make you believe that because your path looks different, your purpose must be smaller. But different does not mean less. Limited does not mean empty. Slower does not mean weaker. Dependent does not mean worthless. Your life still carries weight. Your story still carries wisdom. Your presence still has impact. There are things I cannot do. That is real. I cannot pretend those limitations do not exist. But there are also things my disability has built in me that I may not have developed any other way. And when I focus on growth, character, faith, purpose, and the ways I can still change, the things I cannot do begin to lose authority over my identity. They are still there, but they no longer get to be the loudest voice in the room. That is the shift. This is not denial. This is not fake positivity. This is not pretending everything happens neatly or painlessly. This is choosing to live with a deeper imagination than limitation. It is choosing to say, this may be part of my reality, but it does not get to consume the whole of who I am. Because if we are not careful, we can build our entire identity around absence. What we lost, what we lack, what we wish was different, what other people have that we don't. And I understand that, I really do. But there comes a point where we have to ask ourselves a difficult question. Am I only looking at what life took from me? Or am I willing to see what life has formed in me? One keeps us trapped in grief, the other allows grief to become part of growth. And growth does not always look like a miracle cure. Growth can look like emotional maturity. It can look like patience. It can look like boundaries. It can look like wisdom. It can look like learning how to receive love. It can look like choosing to speak when silence would be easier. It can look like becoming a voice for people who have not found theirs yet. To my fellow warriors and fighters out there, I see you. And when I say warriors and fighters, I am not saying we have to be strong every second of every day. I am not saying we never get tired. I am not saying we always have the perfect mindset. I am saying that if you are still here, still trying, still growing, still choosing another step, there is something powerful in that. You may not see it because you are living it, but someone else may find courage from the way you keep going. Someone else may find language because you were brave enough to speak. Someone else may feel less alone because you were willing to be honest. And that is not just for the disabled community, that is for everybody. Because the world does not need more people pretending they are untouched by pain. The world needs people who have walked through something difficult and still choose compassion. People who have every reason to become cold but choose tenderness. People who have been humbled by life but still carry dignity. People who understand that strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is what forms when struggle does not get the final word. So, no, I am not glorifying my disability. I am not saying I wanted it. I am not saying it is easy. But I am saying this: even in the bitter parts of my life, God has still been forming something in me, a deeper perspective, a stronger heart, a greater appreciation for love, a sharper awareness of people's pain, a voice I may not have found otherwise, and a purpose that is not erased by limitation. Maybe the thing you wish you could remove from your story has still produced something in you that the world needs. Maybe your hardest season did not make you less. Maybe it gave you depth. Maybe it gave you discernment. Maybe it gave you compassion. Maybe it gave you the ability to reach people who would never listen to someone who has not struggled. That does not make the pain good, but it means the pain does not get to be wasted. So keep fighting, keep growing, keep becoming, keep lifting people up. And when you feel tempted to measure your life only by what you cannot do, pause long enough to remember what you still bring. Your story is not finished. Your life is not reduced to limitation. And the parts of you formed in the fire may be the very parts that help someone else find light. This is On the Roll with Matt. Keep rolling.